Well, the fire that destroyed parts of Charlotte Maxeke Academic Hospital has led, as we know, to massive disruptions in the delivery of healthcare services in Johannesburg and surrounding areas. Now, according to the Daily Maverick, an SAPS forensic fire report shows that last year's fire was indeed an act of arson. The Gauteng Health Department says it cannot comment on that report as it's not received it. Bizarrely, in the aftermath of the fire, lives have been lost. Health practitioners have resigned and rebuilding costs have run into hundreds of millions of rand. So let's unpack where we are now. We're joined by Wits School of Governance Professor Alex van den Heever via our video link this morning. Prof, great to have you with us on the program. Thanks very much for coming on. The saga around Gauteng Health continues. Where do we begin with the story around Charlotte Maxeke? Let's start here. A year after that forensic report was issued, government says it still doesn't have a copy of it.
All of this is very, very strange. You would expect that this would be an extremely high priority because one of the high risks to the health system would be caused if you found out or were reasonably sure that the fires that were being experienced within the Gauteng Department of Health were caused by arson. It would have very serious implications for the health service, as opposed to accidents. And so you'd want to know very, very quickly what is going on. But it appears that the Department of Health and the Gauteng province has absolutely no interest in actually getting to the bottom of any of the major causes of disasters that afflict this department.
And then we look at some of the other detail contained in this forensic report, right? For one, the affidavits that were taken by police when it was conducting its investigation, those affidavits from staff, including an eyewitness to the start of the fire, taken 6 months after that incident in April of last year.
Yeah, it just shows that there is no interest in getting to the bottom of this, and you have to ask the question why. Yeah. It's as with the sort of the Babita Deokaran story, the apathy within the department is really concerning. This is something that would be the highest priority. I mean, Gauteng's most prestigious and major academic hospital had a disastrous fire, and if there were parties that were responsible for that fire, you would want to know. And what we've had is fires at other facilities, including the head offices of the Gauteng Department of Health. And I'm afraid that it looks like people might be being protected in this. I don't know why they would not follow up. It makes no sense whatsoever. It's either gross negligence on the part of the department or people are basically pulling their punches. They're holding back for some reason.
And once again, it's up to journalists, right? It's up to the media to keep the pressure on insofar as issues. I mean, you've raised ongoing investigations by News 24 insofar as Babita Deokaran's assassination is concerned. I want to chat to you about that in a moment, but let's stay on Charlotte Maxeke. A statement here from the MEC for Health in Gauteng, Dr. Mogeti, saying essentially that the department would like to indicate it's not received any forensic report. As you say, this should be an issue that's top of the agenda insofar as the importance of Charlotte Maxeke in healthcare services in the province is concerned. Should her department be waiting to receive this report? One would be hoping that they'd be camped outside the forensic investigator's office waiting for the report to be finished so that they can get their hands on it.
Well, quite clearly the report was available and it took a PIRE application to extract it, and it was provided. So an external party requested the information and received it. The Gauteng Department of Health, however, doesn't. Sits back, sits on its hands, does nothing. And then it says it can't comment because it's ignorant of this report. I mean, the question is, have they not received this report? I just find it very unusual. It doesn't make sense that they have not received this report quite a while ago and have been sitting on it. But 12 months on, when the report has been finalized and where external parties have extracted the report through a PIRE application, it makes absolutely no sense that the Gauteng Department of Health has no report.
I mean, Prof, what do we read into this attitude from health officials in Gauteng? I mean, while there's a backlog of life-threatening illnesses that continues to grow with each passing day, the completion of Charlotte Maxeke is now scheduled for only 2027. What do we read into this complacency?
I mean, there's so many issues that are of concern. First of all, 12 months after the fire, the repairs weren't completed. And it also took external pressure to get the province to try and do something. And then the responsibility was shifted up to national, supposedly, and for the Development Bank of South Africa to coordinate the infrastructural repair, with the CEO of the hospital taking no real responsibility for what's going on. That in itself, from a governance perspective, makes no sense. The delay is unbelievable. And the argument that the province had no money also doesn't make sense either. This is a high priority facility. So the delays in repairs, who is actually commissioned to do these repairs and why they're taking so long is a serious concern. So it just seems that everything that's done in this province is delayed, slow, and buried in secrecy. And just to indicate that you could build a whole new facility in 3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. Delays in cancer treatment, the future of healthcare workers also in the balance as the saga around Charlotte Maxeke continues. And of course, the investigations, insofar as Babita Deokaran's assassination is concerned, continues to uncover a whole range of serious allegations implicating top officials in Gauteng Health as well. Finally, we saw some action with the suspension of the hospital CEO and, of course, Lerato Mario, the head of department in Babita Deokaran's case.
Yeah, belatedly, and I don't think that really amounts to serious action. It's taken 12 months to suspend somebody who's obviously responsible and accountable for serious, egregious financial misconduct within that facility. The CEO, who would be responsible and was responsible for signing off on what were obviously problematic transactions that looked, certainly in my assessment of it and what I've seen of it, looked fabricated. I don't know if any of that stuff was ever delivered to that facility. So it looks entirely orchestrated, and then the concern is the province does nothing, sits back on its hands, and then lightly, after getting the issues being raised in public, suspends officials. And this type of thing has been done before. People are put on precautionary suspension indefinitely, and then they hope that you just forget about it. These people are, and those aren't the only people who would be responsible. It's also shown now in the latest reports from News 24 that key players within the ANC were the people doing business with Tembisa Hospital through different companies. So again, it leads into a political party structure, and you have the province pulling its punches, holding back and not taking action. And when this province pleads poverty, that it doesn't have enough money and resources to run a proper health system, and that it's immigrants who are causing all of the problems, we have to call out that as an absolute lie. What we're seeing here is that there is actually no proper supervision of finances within the province, and it is severely harming the public. Absolutely. And it's just unconscionable.
Yeah, the most serious case of scapegoating. Professor Alex van den Heever, thanks very much indeed for weighing in.